Hi, my name is Adam Compton. I'm the CPC training manager at the Trace Training Center here in Surrey. And today I'd like to teach you about the wiggle check. So the wiggle check, or you'll sometimes heard it being called the tap check or test. It's all the same thing. It's part of the working with CT secondary conductor procedure. I'm going to demo that. In actuality, the tap and the wiggle check are different. So if you hear tap check in the field, it is a bit different. I'm going to demonstrate that on a panel as well. So it should be noted that with all the barriers that we use in the CT, working with CT procedure, the tap check or the wiggle check is actually the last straw. So if you're getting to the point in your work and you actually do this test and you see a spark from an open circuit CT, you have basically really fouled up something along the lines to get to that point. However, it was added as part of the procedure as kind of that last step. So you can catch yourself in case you have screwed up the procedure up to that point. Okay, so the one thing I will note is whenever doing these checks, it was explained to me by some pretty experienced electricians that when they perform this work, they actually expect or like mentally prepare themselves to expect to hear and see a spark from an open circuit CT. And that's really important. So I wanted to cover that first, because if you prepare yourself that way, if something actually does happen in your hands, you don't want to have the instinct to kind of pull away because you've heard a loud snap or you see a big spark. The whole point of this procedure overall is to maintain control of your tools and yourself while you're performing this work. Okay, so before we get into it, we'll look at some of the safety gear. So you're wearing your normal FR clothing, PPE. We're going to be wearing our Class 0 gloves here. We have insulated tools that we're going to be using, and we're going to be wearing our safety glasses as well. Okay, so here we are in our work zone. So in this particular job here, we have our tags on our target conductors, which are these two CT wires on the top of this block, and we have the other blocks taped off with high-vis tape so we don't get on the wrong block. And so what I'm going to be demonstrating right now will be the wiggle check or the spark check. Okay, so here we are. We're going to do a wiggle check here, or a spark check. And I'm using my insulated tools, so you can see with my pliers here I've got control of the CT wire on the top, and I'm mentally preparing to see a spark, and I don't want to flinch and pull everything off. And all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take my insulated screwdriver and I just want to crack the terminal. Okay, I'm not taking it all the way off. I'm just going to crack it, and I'm just going to wiggle here, and I'm listening and I'm looking to see if I can hear or see any sparks. And if I don't hear anything, then I'm comfortable enough that I can back this thing all the way off, pull the wire off, and continue with my work. So that was the wiggle or the spark check. And now we're going to talk about the tap technique. So even though it's not in the procedure, it was brought up to me by some very experienced electricians. Where it came from was if you're cracking that CT termination, but the stake-on maybe is too tight, that you can't get that feeling that you're actually separating it from the bolt. You're not confident that you're actually breaking the path there. They like to do a tap technique. So if you can get away with the wiggle check, that's your best bet. If you can't, for whatever reason, we see lots of different types of wires and stake-ons in BC Hydro. If you can't get away with it, we're going to demonstrate how to do the tap technique so you can still do that final check to make sure that the circuit's safe. So here we are at our work site again. The job is the same as it was before, okay? But we're going to be doing a tap check this time. So I use my insulated pliers here. I've got control of the target conductor. I'm going to crack the terminal here, okay? And let's say in this case, I'm wiggling it, and I can't get that assurance that I've actually broken contact here, okay? Okay, so then I want to do what's called the tap technique. Okay, so I'm going to use an insulated screw starter here, and I want to make sure that I get a good bite here. And I'm going to be slowly backing out the screw, and I'm keeping
pressure here on the wire to keep it sandwiched to the screw head. And when I've reached the end of the thread, I do a little tap like this, and again I'm listening and I'm looking for any sparks. And if I heard any, I would put it right back in the seat here, right? I want to maintain control, I want to put it back in the seat, and I would thread it back in. And if I didn't hear anything, we remove the wire and we progress with the rest of our work.
So that was a demonstration of the wiggle check or the spark check, as well as the tap technique. Thanks for watching.